Hey there, everyone. We have found ourselves in that time of the month once again, where we are just a couple days away from the reveal trailer of our next legendary hero. So naturally, we gotta try and figure out who it is before that happens. And just a disclaimer, I know that last month I was very confident that we would be getting a colorless legendary hero. And while I still think that's the case, the introduction of air maybe kind of muddies the water a little bit on that. And that's strictly just because air could theoretically be a representative on the legendary banner for the colorless pool. And we didn't know about air back when we got a list of who would be showing up in the next banner. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but it's possible. You can see the legendary heroes grid down there. These mystic heroes still, or the mythic heroes, sorry, the mythic heroes still have these bonuses, but the blessings are different. So in theory, they could just add extra rows onto that chart and keep the blessing or the bonus. For example, the light blessing that Air has the bonus of res. So she could theoretically fit her own row onto that chart. I don't know if they're going to do that, but one thing is for sure, they are not legendary heroes, they are mythic heroes, and so for that reason, I don't think they're going to be like dedicated representatives on the legendary banners, but I don't know. it's IS, let's be real, it's IS. They could do pretty much whatever they wanted, and it would come out of left field anyway. But that said, we do have 3 guarantees for December's banner in just a couple days. We have Marth in the red pool, we have Fjorm in the blue, and Hector, of course, in the green pool, as if he would show up literally anywhere else, except that one time when he had Lance. But either way, those are the units that we're guaranteed to get. I still think we're going to get a colorless hero, but it's not necessarily dedicated. Now that said, I think we're probably looking at a staff unit. We could get a bow unit, I guess. But I don't really think there's any heroes that would fit like the colorless bow or colorless dagger. I just don't feel it this time around. And that's mainly because of the information I have down at the very bottom right of the screen. I pulled some dates and events from our community event calendar. And we are looking at the 3 Princesses quest, which is actually starting tonight. For some of you, for those of us on the East Coast of the United States, we gotta wait until tomorrow morning. But the 3 Princesses quest is starting, and that is, spoilery I guess, revolving around Sharina, Fjorm, and Air. Now what that means is just that. We have 3 princesses there in a quest. And we're getting, rewards based around completing actions with those 3 units. A fun little side fact for you: there's actually a Cypher event going on called the Princess Cup in, I think, Tokyo and another city in Japan, and it's around the same time as well. I think it's happening right now, where it's a women's only event for Cypher, and when you enter, your freebie is like one of the a princess, a Fire Emblem Princess Cypher card. So I just thought that was kind of cool. I don't think it has anything to do with this. It's just weird that it kind of coincided with that, and I don't maybe there is a connection. I don't know, but I doubt it. But the Princess Quest is going on from the 21st to the 4th there. And then right below it, we've got the Legendary Hero Summoning event, which is the 27th through the 7th, and that's kind of a long one too. That's what, 10 day? No. Yeah, no, 11 day. 12 day. So that kind of leads me to believe that since we have the 3 Princesses quest, and then we have an Alliance of Princesses, Tempest Trials, and then the Legendary Hero event is just sandwiched right in between those. That seems strange. It could just be coincidence that the 3 Heroes quest and the next Tempest Trial are both princess based. I don't think that's the case. I I think maybe what we're kind of looking at is a story that's unique to Heroes, i.e. not something that's canon in another game and used to kind of help propel the story in Heroes. I think more than likely what we're looking at involves some of the candidates on the left there. So Celica, first and foremost, Celica is like the princess, right? Like she has her own princess class, I think, in her game. That kind of just makes her like an instant option for Legendary Hero. Specifically with this kind of weird theme that's going on. Granted, I think Celica is a good candidate for a Legendary Hero anyway, and I think she will most likely be a Legendary Hero at some point. But the fact that it's very heavily focused on princesses kind of leads me to believe that that's kind of what we'll be seeing. So Celica, obviously, very strong option. There's also Veronica. Now, Veronica is interesting because if you look back at those quests, you've got Nifl, which is Fjorm. You've got Hell, which is, air. And then you've got Asker, which is Sharina. And there's clearly one place that's missing from that whole quartet, right? And that would be Veronica of Emblem. And I don't see how this isn't leading us into like a Legendary Veronica type situation. We already know that Thrasir is an ancestor of Veronica's, and so Veronica is obviously going to play a very important part of the story in Book 3. And so I just feel like Veronica has a lot of potential here specifically. Why Sharina wouldn't be considered a Legendary before Veronica, I don't know. But again, that trifecta that we have of Fjorm, Air, and Sharina, it really only feels complete when you throw in Veronica when you're thinking of characters, right? And then the title and alliance of princesses kind of leads me to believe that it's going off of the three princess quest, because you have these three regions, these three princesses from those regions, and they're all kind of representing that. It is possible that the Tempest Trials also will coincide with the New Year's event, because we do have a New Year's banner popping up on the 31st. I don't think that's going to be the case. We've already got a winter-themed Tempest Trial that's based on the winter banner that's going on right now. I don't think they would do that. I think they're going to focus it more on the Legendary Hero event. And I think they did that with Reed, if I'm not mistaken, who also had his own Forging Bonds event thing going on as well. So I think that's more than likely what we're looking at. It could be New Year's based, but I don't think it is. Another strong candidate, given the events that we have coming up, is Alencia. And Alencia, you can see, she's kind of butting up into this Radiant Laguz banner stuff that's happening on the 10th of January. And we already know that event is also getting its own Forging Bonds activity. And they have done this before with Legendary Heroes, like I just said with Reed. It was a little bit closer together last time, I think, with him. But that doesn't necessarily discount that it could be paired up again. I think it's possible. I don't think it's super likely, but I think it's possible. Currently, Alencia makes a lot of sense, especially if she's going to play a bigger part in the Radiant banner portion. But they are a little bit spaced out. It could be one of those things where we're getting Legendary Alencia and then 2 or 3 on the banner. Like that could be a thing. But it's possible. She kind of fits the mold a little bit. She could be a flying staff unit. But either way, I think Alencia does make sense. Currently, my top 2 contenders involve Veronica and Azura. And let me tell you why I'm thinking Azura. Okay. Back at the end of Book 2, if you recall, we got this weird kind of the Adrift banner, right? That weird kind of epilogue thing that was happening, and we got introduced to Small Zura or Kid Zura or Tiny Azura, and Loki was trying to kind of manipulate her dreams and things like that. And now we're looking at this princess-themed and All the candidates are princesses, by the way. Just figured I would let you... figured I would remind you about that. Azura is technically a princess of, I guess, kind of Nor, but also Vala. So she could play a part in this. I don't know. That story mode was just kind of there, right? And then it ended. So I don't really know what they were planning on doing with that. But I feel like embracing that storyline a little bit more might be for the better, to kind of just save grace and not be like, oh, we just threw a Fates banner on there with a drift. And because it feels a little bit out of place for me, right? It doesn't, like, it just feels off a little. And I feel like that's weird. It doesn't seem right that they would just leave it at that and then call it good. There's a lot of unanswered questions for that. And I know we just started book 3, but there's a lot of unanswered questions everywhere. But that whole banner, that whole story didn't really sit well with me. I felt like there was supposed to be something else to it. And Azura might be a good way to bring that in. She's a good candidate for a legendary hero. She could be colorless, probably doing something. I don't know. But again, colorless isn't necessarily a mandatory thing right now, because we could have a representative in air. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think it's probably likely Veronica or Azura. But again, you know, any of the candidates are strong options. Honorable mentions go to Corrin and Micaiah. Technically, both princesses, kinda. I don't really want to spoil anything with Micaiah, because I know people aren't necessarily super familiar with the Radiant series, but they are kind of princesses in their own right, technically. And, oh hey, we completed Tempest Trials, fam. We did it. Hooray. Success. Yeah, so I think they are likely candidates to be legendary heroes at some point. I think, like I said, Azura or Veronica tend to make better sense right now, given the theme that seems to be prolificent. So that's kind of where my head's at. I'm thinking we probably got Veronica or Azura. But, you know, it could be anybody. Could be Lynn again. Who knows? Could be Camilla. Camilla's technically a princess too. Oh, God. Oh, no. What would happen? Either way. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments down below. I appreciate you checking this video out. It's always fun to speculate, and who actually knows what IS has going on in their brains. Probably craziness. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments about the next Legendary Hero banner. We won't have to wait too long. We'll probably get a reveal trailer on maybe the 24th? Probably the 23rd. I would say probably the 23rd, so just a couple days from now. I can't see them doing it on the 26th, but maybe they will. Who knows? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are down below, and I will catch you next time.